she still smiles like her. They say grief can warp a mind, that when someone you love dies, your brain claws for explanations, delusions, anything to hold on. That's what I told the cops, anyway. But I know what I saw, what I lived. And I'm writing this down now because I can't trust my own thoughts anymore. Because sometimes I still hear her humming in the kitchen, just like before. My wife, Erin, died 8 months ago. A car crash on a rain-slick road, broad daylight, just a few miles from home. The police said it was quick. She didn't feel anything, they told me. I nodded like that helped, but all I could think was, I wasn't there. She was supposed to be picking up groceries. I'd asked her to grab oat milk. I keep thinking, if I'd just gone myself. After the funeral, I stopped going to work. Stopped answering calls. Her parents left messages, gentle, pleading, then angry. I didn't listen. I couldn't bear to hear her name spoken like she was history. The house became a tomb. Every room held her scent. Her toothbrush was still damp 3 days after she died. I slept with her robe bundled against my chest like a security blanket. My therapist said I was processing slowly. They didn't see how often I walked through our home in the dark, whispering to shadows. How I'd stop at the door at 5:17 p.m., the time she always came home from work, and wait. Just wait. Hoping the knob would turn. So, I left the city. Moved out to our old cabin in the Gemmas Mountains. She always called it her sanctuary. Said she wanted to disappear into the trees. I think some part of me thought I could find her there. Maybe not in body, but in spirit. In echoes. The silence out there was suffocating at first. No neighbors, no phones, no distractions, just her absence. I reread her texts until the screen blurred. Played her voicemails like lullabies. One night, I wore her wedding dress. I don't know why. Maybe I wanted to be near her in some grotesque, desperate way. I thought maybe I could bury myself in it. Dissolve into memory. For a while, it was just that. Memories. Then something changed. It started small. A glimpse of someone standing just outside the tree line at dusk. Always facing the house. Always still. The first time I called out, "Erin," it just stood there. Then came the sounds. Her laugh, quiet and cracked like it was coming through a broken speaker. The soft creak of her rocking chair in the nursery, even though I'd bolted it shut. I told myself it was dreams, audio pareidolia, nerves. I even started journaling the events to prove they were just hallucinations. But then the things she knew started. She left me notes on the fridge. The first one read, "Don't forget the mint for your tea. It helps your chest." Only Erin knew I had anxiety attacks that tightened my lungs, and that mint helped. The note was in her handwriting. Her loopy, college girl cursive. The next morning, my tea was already steeping when I woke up. Another night, I found her on the back porch, sitting in her flannel pajamas, the ones I buried her in. She was humming the lullaby we made up for the child we never had. "You never sang it right," she said, smiling without blinking. But I still loved hearing it. My knees buckled. That lullaby was never written down, never recorded. Just something we whispered in bed when we imagined our future. That's when I realized this thing wasn't just copying her. It was inside my memories. The manipulation got subtler, smarter. She talked to me when I was half asleep, brushing my hair, whispering in that soft, broken voice. She asked about my day, laugh at my jokes the way she used to. She cooked my favorite meals, but always slightly off, like she knew what it was. but not how it should taste. She would press me with guilt. Tell me I left her, that I should have been in the car, that I promised to protect her, and I failed. Just let me back in, she said once, pressing her forehead to mine. You don't have to be alone anymore. We can finish what we started. I wept. I wanted it to be her. I was so desperate to believe. I even stopped checking the locks at night. I stopped journaling. I stopped calling it a hallucination. Then one day I found her standing over the bed, watching me. She wasn't smiling anymore. You're slipping again, she said. Her voice was tighter. You're doubting. You always doubt. That night, I dreamed of her face peeling off, revealing something that blinked sideways and grinned without lips. When I woke up, there were muddy footprints at the foot of the bed. They led in from the door, but not out. After that, she changed tactics. She began mimicking our fights, twisting her tone to match her angriest days, telling me things I had feared she thought but never said, that I was weak, that I was a coward, that she was bored of me before she died. And then, she'd flip, weep in my arms, beg for forgiveness, plead for me to let her stay. I started to lose track of time. Days collapsed. I'd wake up and find entire dinners half-eaten on the table, showers running with no memory of turning them on. I looked in the mirror and sometimes saw her reflection instead of mine. The last straw, the final confirmation, came when I found the bones. I followed her into the woods one night. She said she wanted to show me where she came back. She took me to a clearing, and in the moonlight, I saw the scattered remains of her body, still dressed in the flannel pajamas, still broken from the crash. I fell to my knees. I heard her behind me, humming. You see now? She said softly. You let me die, and I had to become something else. But I still came back. For you. I turned. Her skin was sagging, hanging wrong, peeling like wax in a flame. Her face split slightly at the jawline, revealing black gums and too many teeth. Teeth meant for rending, not speaking. She stepped forward. I stumbled back. My foot landed on something sharp. Her cracked femur, I think. And I fell hard. My flashlight rolled into the brush. She lunged. I scrambled up and bolted into the forest, sprinting blind. Branches slapped my face. Rocks tore at my feet. My lungs screamed. But I didn't stop. Behind me, I heard it moving. Not running, but loping. Like an animal that hadn't decided which legs to use. And it was laughing. Not like Erin. Like something else trying to remember how she laughed. You always said you'd follow me anywhere, it called. Why are you running now? I don't know how I made it out of the woods. I didn't follow trails. I made new ones. Ripped through bramble, leapt over ravines I couldn't see the bottom of. Once, I slipped and fell down a rocky slope, felt my ankle twist, heard a crack. But adrenaline is a hell of a thing. I got up and kept going. It followed. Closer now. I could hear its breath. Too loud, too fast, like lungs hadn't been part of its original plan. At the edge of the woods, I saw the cabin light flickering in the distance. Salvation. I pushed harder. The air felt thicker, like it was trying to drag me backward. My vision tunneled. My ears rang. Just as I reached the clearing, it screamed. A long, bone-rattling howl that shattered every illusion left. It wasn't Erin's voice anymore. It was raw, ancient, like a throat filled with sand and rage and memory. I turned long enough to see it standing at the tree line, half human, half thing. Its skin sloughed off in ribbons, its limbs bent like broken marionettes, eyes hollow but burning. And it smiled. Then it vanished, melted into the dark like smoke. I reached my truck, barely conscious. I don't remember getting the keys or turning the ignition. I only remember the blood in the steering wheel and the way the rearview mirror refused to show me what was behind me. I drove. I didn't stop. I left the mountains behind. Left the cabin. Left her bones. Her smell. Her thing. They found me unconscious on the side of the highway, muttering her name. My hands were covered in scratches. My shirt was inside out. I had a pine branch lodged through the cuff of my jeans. The cops found nothing at the cabin. No signs of struggle, no bones, no blood, just one note taped to the inside of the bedroom mirror. You almost believed enough. Now I live in a box of white walls and too many locks. The lights stay on. I check the closet 6 times a day, salt lines every window. But sometimes, the cameras catch a flicker at 2:30 a.m., a figure standing just out of range. Still, waiting. Sometimes I wake up humming her lullaby with no idea why. And sometimes I dream of that smile. Too wide, too still. She still smells like copper,